question of the day is, and let's get real technical here, because the information that we acquire out of this question is going to help every single one of us on how to get more leads out there. What are you experiencing from other virtual networking groups that is effectively enabling them to generate more referral exchanges? So if anyone wants to chime in, anyone in this call right now that's finding a lot of the other groups generating contacts, what are they doing that we can apply right here so we can get more leads out there for all of us, just kind of like the experience that Peter's about to experience today. That's awesome, so how can we do more of this? How can we exchange more leads? And anyone that can chime in, I'm open microphone for sure.
So I'm going to be attending another meetup, and what kind of brought me to that group is they had a guest speaker from Shark Tank. But as I say this, I like this group the best because this one seems the most collaborative. So I don't know if I would really change anything. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But a guest speaker could be possibly something that could bring in new people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because we did the guest speaker session, and they're still doing it over there in San Diego. What we found in the guest speaking session is everyone tends to get bored a little bit. Like when the guest speaker just shines in and goes on and on. We like Robert Lee and I like to have these. Robert calls this a wellness segment to really have that brainstorming conversation, more of a boardroom type of conversation. So we will try to bring in some guest speakers. I do have a couple of folks in mind, but I think Mr. Vickers was trying to throw in some nickels and dimes there. Joseph, I know you're a huge networker. What kind of success are you finding from other folks out there that's allowing them to generate more exchanges?
Yeah, the biggest thing is when the people in the group, they start doing one-on-ones together so that you can really get more information about, get to know different people a little better. So one-on-ones are pretty critical. That'd be my 2 cents.
We are following every little step. We are following the decree from the 29% solution, which is the founder of BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner. So, Mark, 125%, I agree with you. We as a group we need to try to figure out how we can literally start getting more leads exchange. I know Peter is kind of like the MVP of today's conference right now. Dan and Mark, go ahead and holler at Peter. I think this is going to help your farm business for sure. Joe, were you raising your hand, Joe? Were you? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. We have another group that I've been in called BizNet. That's been around for 10 years. And we have like 60 members in the group, and we do like millions each year in referral passing. So we track the referrals, but there's no requirement that you have to bring anything. But we keep a record of the amount of business that are being passed. But if you don't have anything, you don't have anything. And there's no embarrassment to it. But they do present each week like how much business was passed. But there's no requirement that everybody has to have something every week. And it's really a very close group that's developed over 10 years. And so having to where you have to have something every week, but tracking the total referrals is a good idea, as well as the dollar figure. So tracking is good, but I don't think you should have it as a requirement, because then when you make it as a requirement, the people don't want to show up to the meeting because they don't have anything, and then, so I think it works both ways.
I like that. Yeah. And Teresa, I'm gonna call you after this meeting, because I do want to really dissect everything that everyone is sharing here. For me, I agree with Mr. Vickers, and I agree with Mark as well. However, I want to meet the accountability and the organic way of doing it. You know, like where it's not pressured, but at the same time, we kind of have some sort of accountability because we're spending an hour of our time every Tuesdays here. We do want to have that KPI. We do want to have that key performance indicator on like, okay, how are we exchanging leads here? You know, like we love to be able to chat with everyone, but at the same time, we still got business and we still got bills to pay, if you know what I'm saying. So, I love it. I love that we're having these conversations. Anyone else want to chime in on how we can?
Yeah, Carl, I just wanted to add, and I think the other thing that might be helpful is what I'll call exclusivity, which is I know you want to build a big group here, which is great, but I think what you might want to be conscious of, we don't want to have 10 different real estate agents or 15 different life agents or 40 different carpenters or this and that. You know, I think there's enough diversification in vocations that more isn't always better, but I think we can have a diversified group. But I'd like to know, for instance, if indeed I needed some handyman work done, then I have a contact here versus having to decide 10 different ones and give him the business. I'd like people to think if they'd like to pay much less for the prescription medications, they have a go-to person. So you might want to consider limiting one member per vocation, and that way we can all feed each other's business versus having, it's nice to have competition in the group in some ways, but I don't think within the same vocation. So just a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for anything, guys. Like, for me, my goal really is exchange leads. I mean, the name of the group is Entrepreneur Exchange. Peter, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So my simple suggestion is just the onboarding process. If you're going to use Meetup to get people to this Zoom link, you can also do some information gathering at the Meetup level, and that can get pushed through. So we don't have to have that side chat window here with everyone's contact information. And you can have a little bit of that ahead of time. So, yeah, that would be the only thing. The onboarding process, do an intake form.
Please, if we can really, like what Mark said, like what Joe said, and like what Therese said, we can really hone in on that. Or for me, my goal is referral exchanges. Like what's taking place, with Peter right now. You have Mark and Dan. It's really massaged that relationship with them. Anyone else who wants to chime in? We have about 3 more minutes before we adjourn this meeting. Anyone else who wants to throw in on how we can really hone? The word is hone, okay? Hone on the lead exchanges without any shotgun in your head per se. So anyone else want to chime in?
It would be nice if people put their emails to everyone in the chat. This is my first time here, so I don't know where the other stuff is, Desiderio.
Gotcha. Teresa, I'm going to email you the chat conversation. Is that going to be sufficient for now to at least populate all of the contacts together?
Well, quite a few people haven't put any information regarding their emails.
Oh, by the way, let's have a net etiquette though. No email blasting people's email address unless they ask for information. Can we have that? Can we make a promise to have a net etiquette? But we do have a one-on-one first. I do suggest have a one-on-one first before blasting them with a bunch of information. That's just just me. So
I totally agree with you. But if you don't have an email or a phone number, you can't do a one-on-one.
Sure, I get that for sure. Teresa, that's okay, right? I'm going to email you the chat dialogue, and then is that good, or what are your instructions?
That's fine. You can go ahead and email it to me, and I'll get what I can get, and we'll go from there.